Welcome to the coolest tutorial of Python. This is Bitfumes and I'm your host Sarthak. In this episode, we are going to see why we need a return statement and why it is so useful in functions. So in the last episode, we have seen that how we can create a function, and with that function, we have calculated the force. But there is one more thing called work, which is actually force multiplied by distance. Okay, and we have calculated the force, but what if I want to define another function? So yes, we know how to define another function. We will say def, then the function name, and this time we are going to calculate the work. So make sure it is underscore. Okay, so it need force. Yes, we know it needs force and the distance or the displacement. Then we need to give the colon, and here we need to define work is equal to force into displacement. Yeah, this is good, but how we can get this force from this function? So let's try to call that function here. So what if I call, instead of f, I will say cal force, and I will provide the value of mass as 10 and acceleration as 5. Then I'm going to multiply with d. This means I don't need this force. I need mass and acceleration. So let's give mass, acceleration, and instead of 10, I will provide m here and a here. So what we are doing? We are just going to call this function, cal force function, and in that cal force function, instead of m, we are passing the value of mass, which is we are getting from the work function, and acceleration again from the work function, and then we are multiplying the value. So let's call, instead of this force, and I will just comment these two, and now I will call cal work. And yeah, if I run it, I get error because we need the argument or the parameter, whatever you call it. So let's give these values. So 10 for force, 5 for acceleration, and displacement is, let's say, 20 meters. Then it should work, correct? So we have not given any print statement. So let's say print of w, which is this w work. Okay, so let's run it, and this time we are getting error. Why we are getting error? Actually, we are getting 150, which is because of this cal force function we have defined. So we don't want to print anything on cal force function, so I will just remove that print function and now run it, and we are just getting the error. And this is the error which says that in cal function unsupported type, that means non-type, this function not have any type because this function is not providing anything. So if I run this force function, so let's comment the work function and run cal force, we are not getting anything. It's not even printing, it's not doing anything. So here comes our return statement. So as I have told you, this cal force function is not giving anything. So to tell this function that, hey, cal force function, whatever you calculate, whatever you do, at last you need to return the value of f. And obviously this f is calculated by multiplying mass and acceleration, and the value of m and a are getting from here and here. So this means, let's again comment this and uncomment that, cal force, run it. This time also it's not giving anything. So what happening here? We have to print it. So now this time, because if we are giving any return statement, it's just working as a variable. So what we do to print any variable's value? We just use print statement, and inside print statement we give the variable name. So run it, and 98 is here. But if I remove this return statement, run it, we are not getting anything, none we are getting. So this means whenever we are using return statement, the function calculates something, do something, and then return it, and it will store that returned value in itself. So it's like a variable whenever we are using return statement. This means now if I run this cal work function, yes, we are using this cal force function here, and which is going to return. And as I have told you, this function for an instance, because we have used return statement, works as a variable. And yes, this variable multiplied by other variable makes sense. So this means we will get this print value. So we will get something on this console. So run it and we get 1000, which is 5 into 10 into 20, 1000. That's very good. But again, in this cal work, we are using print. So let's use return w and run it. We will not get anything because this time our cal work is just like a variable, and to print the value of variable, we need print statement and cal work and 10, 5, let's say 30 this time, not 20. So run it and 1500 is the result. So you have seen that why this return statement is required and how powerful it is. It just make life simpler, and it just make the function as a variable which can hold something which can be used after calculating or after doing some kind of work, which is like here we are doing, and make life easier. So if you have liked this episode, share these videos with your friends. Like Bitfilms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have not subscribed, go and subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to get instant notification. And we will meet in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.